Buongiorno a tutte e tutti. Io mi scuso per la voce, sono un po' in convalescenza. Sono molto contenta e anche un po' emozionata di introdurre questo incontro e di dialogare e dare modo a tutte e tutti voi di ascoltare i racconti di Atef Abu Saif, a cui rubo 2 minuti per una brevissima introduzione. Atef Abu Saif è uno scrittore, è un politico nella maniera più sana, più etimologicamente importante. È un autore, uno scrittore palestinese tradotto in Israele. È stato ministro della cultura dell'autorità nazionale palestinese e poi a cavallo del 7 ottobre si reca nella Striscia di Gaza per un evento culturale a Khan Yunis. Pensava di dover fare un viaggio come molti ne aveva fatti precedentemente da Ramallah, dove vive, con suo figlio. Avrebbe fatto visita ai parenti all'interno della Striscia di Gaza e invece quel viaggio che si presentava come un viaggio come tanti altri ne aveva fatti in precedenza diventa l'abisso dell'offensiva militare israeliana sulla Striscia di Gaza in risposta al 7 ottobre. E questo libro, Diario di un genocidio, è un libro che racconta i mesi che Atef Abu Saif ha vissuto con la sua famiglia testimone dell'abisso della guerra di Gaza. Cos'è questo libro? È una cronaca? Certamente. È la cronaca della paura, dei bombardamenti, delle amputazioni, delle perdite, della cronaca della morte, della fame, della sete, dell'ingiustizia, dell'uso sproporzionato della forza, del silenzio, dell'invisibilità, dell'indignazione a singhiozzo del mondo, ma è anche e soprattutto un libro che ci fa dire, dalla prima all'ultima pagina, non possiamo più dire che non sapevamo.
Understand, but I'm not going to speak Italian.
Mi fermo adesso e inizierei proprio da qui. Vorrei fare un percorso che parte dal libro e arriva alla cronaca e ai nostri giorni, prima di lasciare negli ultimi 15-20 minuti la possibilità a voi di fare domande ad Atef Abu Saif e partirei da qui, dal passaggio all'inaspettato di questa guerra, che non è inaspettato perché è la continuazione delle guerre precedenti.
I have to put this?
Because
this
is
is
the translation from Italian to English.
No.
So, colpa mia, avrei dovuto ricordarlo, perdonatemi. Tutto ok. Non ricomincio Atef, ho fatto una lunga introduzione un po'. Ti chiederei se vuoi introdurre questo racconto dei tuoi mesi di guerra nel passaggio tra quella che non era una situazione di pace a una situazione di guerra, ma di una situazione già di conflitto nella continuazione di una guerra che è una guerra infinita.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francesca, for this. Good morning, buongiorno. And I don't know, is it clear, the voice? Yeah, okay, it's good, And people mistaken things sometimes. They think the Palestinian history started with October 7. It started 100 years ago, and it never stopped. October 6, a fisherman was killed in the Gaza Sea. October 5th, 2 shepherdmen were killed near Nusayrat in the border. Of course, October 4, October 3, September, it's first. So And we, the Palestinians, we live in one single war, you know. This is the war that was launched against our families and society in 1948 until now. It never stopped. Just look to the history. Look to the newspaper. Every day you find, you know. And it never stopped. And even we talk about Gaza, and of course, you know, we have to talk about Gaza. But every day in West Bank the same, in a different level. So, and unfortunately, all the Palestinians are born during wars, and they die during war. My dad, he was born in a tent in Jabalia. You know, my family comes from Jaffa. And we still have 4 houses in Jaffa until now. But we don't own them, but you know, now others live there. Anyway, so my dad was born in a tent in 1950, and he died in a tent in Jabalia. He died during the siege, you know, when the besieged Jabalia, there is no food, no. Then anyway, it's a long story. So all the Palestinians so our life is war, you know. Exceptionally, you know, you can survive in this war. The normal thing that you die. And when the war broke out, I was swimming in the beach, you know. I thought I might enjoy the last day of the summer. It was very hot the day before, October 6th. It was Friday. I remember I was coming to Gaza. Usually, I'm not living in Ramallah. I'm living in Gaza. My office, I understood what you said. My office is in Ramallah. But I never chose to live anywhere else. I love Gaza. And I want to go back to live there. No house, nothing, but we can make it. It's okay. So I thought I'm going to enjoy, you know, the summer. The last, you know, day of the summer. It was very hot. So I went at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. Then everything collapsed, you know. But this is, you know, I was born in 1973. A year of war as well, you know. So we lived, you know. So and about the diary. I didn't want to write a diary, actually. You know, for me, it was paradox, you know. A man is swimming in the beach and the war breaks out. So I thought as a novelist, you know, this is a good start for a novel. I thought it's a fiction. Because I never expected this is going to last until now. And when I recall what in the first 2 weeks when we were talking together, my friends and me, mainly I was in the press house, sitting most of my time. Now they destroyed it and they killed the head of the press house, Bilal, and blah, blah. So if I recall our talks at that time, nobody expected that's going to last this. Oh, we say, yeah, this is 2 weeks, escalation. Then we say, yeah, by the end of the month it's going to stop. Then by the end of the month, by Christmas, as if they respect Christmas, you know. Oh, they attacked the Nativity Church in Bethlehem, you know. So we say by Christmas they're going to stop because they don't want to upset Europe. They don't care about Europe anyway. Nobody cares about. They don't care about anyone. Then we said, yeah, by the Muslim Ramadan, you know. Then it goes, and now it's 16 months, you know. And I remember my sister 2 days ago, Aisha, she asked me the same question she asked me 1.5 years ago. Is it going to stop by the Eid? You know, we have the Muslim Ramadan. It's finished tomorrow, I think. Yeah. So it's the Eid. So everybody saying, yeah, they might stop the war by the Eid or by the, you know. And it continues. It's never. So when I started writing, I was writing like a fiction, actually. And believe me, many times when you live in this war, you think you live in a fiction. Because it's too brutal, too hard to believe sometimes, you know. And I remember my friends in Europe when I did my PhD in Florence a very long time ago. They will ask me, how does it feel to live in Gaza? It feels like being part of the news. You are part of the news. So the only thing I don't like to see myself is the news. Because, you know, you look at the television, suddenly you find that this happened to me in the Second Intifada. I think I was in Florence. I was reading the news about Gaza. Then my brother was assassinated. I knew it from the news at that time. Anyway.
Prima Prima di chiederti di condividere con noi il racconto di cosa è stata per te, che l'hai vissuta con tuo figlio e con i pezzi della tua famiglia che non ci sono più, l'offensiva militare israeliana su Gaza, e partendo esattamente dalla suggestione che ci lanciavi sulla giornata di sole e questa costa di Gaza che è veramente uno dei luoghi più belli del mondo. Io ti vorrei chiedere di condividere con noi il racconto.
Trump wants to take it.
Yeah, I know, Riviera.
Trump wants to make
Riviera.
it. Don't say this.
Talk about real estate.
Ascolta.
Vado.
We have a very bad beach, so Trump doesn't want it. It's the worst speech ever. Don't believe anyone. Don't say this.
So yeah, I know.
Trump.
The worst question in the worst time.
We have
Sorry.
the worst speech ever in history.
My fault. Bad,
you know?
My fault.
Yeah.
Volevo chiederti, però a questo punto non lo so più se condividevi con noi la bellezza di Gaza. La tua Gaza.
Again, dai, you want...
Sorry.
It's not
I'm here on behalf of Trump.
But if you make sure Trump doesn't listen to us.
Okay, he doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen. No, you know, people they think Gaza is only what they hear in the news. And they forgot Gaza, every city is very old at the end. Don't believe, this is, I don't know, but yeah. But what I'm saying is people, when they think about Gaza, they think of the place where it's bombing, rockets shelling, killing, death. Gaza is a very vivid and big city. And historically, it's one of the main Palestinian 5 cities before the Nakba. You have Jerusalem, Jaffa, Haifa, Akkar, then Gaza. And these are the main cities during the Canaanite time. Gaza was not Phoenician, more or less, because the Phoenician was until South Jaffa, But it was one of the main Canaanite time. And even, of course, in the Bible, And it was very much before the Bible. It's not, I'm saying it's not our fault that all religions want our country. But it was there before. Before Islam, before Christianity, before Judaism. 1,000 years it was there as well. Long, so it's, but what is the main habit of the Gazans now, before they sleep? I do the same. They open their mobiles, where's my mobile? I don't know, like this, and they look to the Gaza on the evening of October 7, in the night, una notte, like yesterday. So they keep, and they found out, wow, it was very beautiful. And it was very beautiful, actually. And it's, and so, we have 17 universities in Gaza. 17 universities on high, and this is for 2 million. It's very big. Gaza is the only place in the Arab country, it's not this year, in the last 30 years, where you don't have any illiterate. You don't find a single man or woman who doesn't read and write in Gaza. Even old men and women. Yeah. Even old men and women, I mean, like, they got education very early in Gaza. So, but now, unfortunately, now we have one of the highest in the Arab countries, because for 2 years in a row there are no schools. They destroyed the schools. So again, like if you look at the contribution of Gaza to the Palestinian culture, for example. Okay, look to the history. In Gaza there is the third oldest church, and it's not in Vatican. The third oldest church, it's in Gaza, which they destroyed part of it in the war. I think I described it when Saint Porphyrius church, And then Gaza, the grandfather of Muhammad is there. His body, his buried. Not Muhammad, not his father, not his grandfather. The grandfather. And they destroyed part of the tomb as well. And of course, the old seaport and, etc. So what I'm saying is in Gaza also we have writers, and we have very good writers. But unfortunately, because of the siege, they don't travel. They don't come to festivals, book fairs, and So, and at the same time, Gaza is not historically only rich, even at the urban level, it's a very beautiful city. You could drive in your car with Gaza for 1 hour on one street full of high buildings, 20 floors. We have 25 floors buildings in Gaza. It's very, but of course, again, people, after the 1948, what remained of Palestine? The word Palestine, Gaza. Because West Bank was annexed to Jordan, and the Zionists, they took the land and they made Israel. And what remained is in Palestine, the word Palestine, Gaza. So Gaza kept the Palestinian national movement. For this, if you look to the emergence of the Palestinian national movement after the Nakba, most of the founders of PLO from Gaza, mainly Fatah, Arafat and his comrades. 9 of 11, they were from Gaza. Of course, the Islamic movement and the left, the same thing. So Gaza is, unfortunately, it's the victim of geography and history. It's a victim of geography and history, Gaza, because it's isolated there. So what time I was teaching political science at Al-Azhar University. By profession, I'm a political scientist. And I had like 200 something students in the introductory course, introduction to political science. Then I asked my students, they were Gazan boys, whoever went outside Gaza? They were like 200. Just one did guess. He said, me. 80% of the people of Gaza never been outside Gaza. Then another girl, she came to me after the class. She said, doctor, professor, she said, when I live in Rafah, on the borderline, she said, when I open my window, the window opens inside Egypt. When you open the window, because, at that time, the houses were exactly on the borderline. But she said, just I put my hand like this and watch Egypt. Have I never been there? So people, they don't know how does it feel for them, the whole world was a television. And Gaza for the world is a television as well, unfortunately. So the injustice and the cruelty and the brutality of the life the people of Gaza were subject to is unimaginable. And then people, oh wow, it's not October 7th. This is a long history of unfairness, injustice, of war, massacres, and etc. 70% of the people of Gaza, they're refugees originally, including my family and my neighborhood, Jabalia. And
una delle parti più vivide e dettagliate inevitabilmente di questo libro, di questo diario della cronaca delle settimane sopravvissute sotto le bombe, riguardano le lezioni della guerra e dunque le lezioni che gli adulti imparano o hanno già imparato nelle numerose offensive precedenti, di cui certamente questa supera e somma tutte in brutalità e sproporzione, ma soprattutto le lezioni che i padri e le madri devono necessariamente insegnare ai loro figli. Lezioni che in tempo di pace i bambini non hanno bisogno di imparare e dunque padri e madri che dicono ai bambini quando iniziano i bombardamenti, questo sto leggendo appunto alcuni passaggi, spostatevi al centro dell'edificio o in una tromba delle scale che è la parte più fortificata dell'edificio, oppure non restate insieme, dividetevi, dormite in posti diversi in modo che se un bombardamento colpisce un edificio, un piano di un edificio, una parte della famiglia muore ma un'altra sopravvive. E allora io vorrei chiedere a Atef, Abu Saif di raccontarci cos'è essere un genitore, cos'è stato essere un genitore a Gaza durante la guerra e chi è un bambino di Gaza.
Yes, yeah, it's very hard to be a father or a mother in the war because you feel you're powerless. You cannot protect your children, and your children expect you to protect them because you're father. You're God for them, so you can. But unfortunately, as a father or a mother, you feel powerless. You can do nothing, And but so, what you try to do is just try to keep them alive as much as you can through these lessons you mentioned, and it's not only the lessons about survival. Even a kid in Gaza can differentiate the different sounds. They know the kind or type of rocket, Israeli rocket, from the sound. I myself, I could in the war differentiate like 9 different types. Oh, this is the ship this is the rocket from F-16. This is the rocket from Apache. This is the rocket. It's funny. Apache is the original Americans, and they named the killing machine after their name. Or this is the rocket from a warship. This is a rocket from tank. This is mortar. But it's the worst thing. Just imagine yourself a mother, and your children, they don't have food. And it doesn't matter if you have money or you don't have money. It doesn't matter if you're courageous or not. It doesn't matter because there is nothing. And your kids are crying and you have to feed them. Or women in Gaza didn't wash their hair, for like 4 months. At a certain time in Jabalia mainly, because there is no water. So if they have water like this, they would keep it. They would keep it like for a week to drink. Sip like little, So, and this, So you have, but people during the war develop strategies of survival. How to sort of, like from my experience, 2014 war, we thought that the building, near the staircase is more fortified, it has more concrete. So we say, in case they bomb the building, so at least there are many concrete there, so we can have a kind of cave, or an empty space in the middle, so we can survive. But of course, this is false, because now, or the Israelis, they're developing counter strategies. Now when they attack a building, they make it like a smash. I saw the image of my I have my personal library and a flat in near Jabalia, and so they destroyed the building 1 hour before the truce, 17 January. So it was there because I saw it in the television, sometimes in the news. And I saw this was not January, last January. I didn't, the whole building, 6th-floor building, became like this. Then you used to ask yourself, where are the nothing? They made it like you squeeze lemon, lemon like you squeeze lemon. But we as a human, we like to lie to ourselves sometimes because we want to feel satisfied. So we try to make these counter strategies that, if the rocket comes from the window, so it's better you sleep near the window so the rocket passes you. And I did it. So many times I was sleeping exactly near the window. Like in this war, I was sleeping in my friend's place. We were sleeping near the kitchen. Because, we were calculating that if the two buildings filled in us, so this is in the middle of the house. It's not fortified or nothing, just in the middle. But just imagine you sleep in the tent or in the house, and just you only think of the rocket which comes to your body. Or just imagine that, sometimes you accept to die, but then you say to yourself, I want to keep my body. Because, in this world, my wife, she lost her older sister, and her family. This is in the 8th day of the war. Until now, they're under the rappel. Her only dream in life is to have a grave for her sister, so she can visit later. So to take the bones. And of course, there is no bone now. There are no bones now. Because they evaporate by time, Because the kind of weapons they use, it's just vanished, Like my aunt Fatima, she was killed in February, last February, 2 months ago. No, it was December. So after the truce, her son went there, and I called him. Did you find anything? He said, no, my mother vanished. You know what he did? He took some sand from the building and he made a grave for her. But there is nothing of her. So what I'm saying, you try to lie to yourself many times, and you try to convince yourself it's going to be fine, let's do this and let's do that. And you don't have a choice. It's not something you decide about. It's not something you can have a say, It's just everything it's like a machine, It's going. And you are in this processed in this machine, and you can do nothing. And sometimes I believe me, when I was in Gaza, I believe, okay, it's fine if I die. But anyway, and I have to write my name like others, but I didn't mention it, because it's very personal.
Una delle frasi che scrivi su questo sentimento, scrivi: voglio essere sveglio quando morirò.
When I die, yeah.
Che significa voglio essere sveglio quando morirò?
No, I told you, but I was thinking, we all will have our bodies, no? We're human. We're the most beautiful creatures of God made, So I said, hey, I don't want to, to be like shopped, one piece here, one piece there, and they don't find me. And so, so many times I was just trying not to sleep because I want to be aware the moment I die. So at least I can remember. I don't know to whom I will tell if I die, but I was saying, I was just playing with, no, you don't have any news, you don't have anything, At that time in Jabalia, we were totally 3 weeks isolated. You don't know what happens in Gaza City itself, So I was saying, I was trying not to sleep all the night. Just I want to see the rocket when it hits me, so at least I can remember the last minute I was a human, before I was made into shops or parts. So I said and I was concentrating, and then. But the good thing, when you hear and this is a lesson for life, when you hear the explosion, this means that it doesn't hit you. This is one of the strategies. So if you hear the boof, this means this boof is not in you. This means it's somewhere else, close to you, but it's not in you. So so I was just awake all the night, trying, So whenever I hear explosions, this means I'm alive. I'm not dead. So so again, it's just you accommodate with the idea of death. You survive with it, because the normal thing is to die. Exceptionally, you survive. Like one time, I was in the street in the neighborhood. Then a shrapnel and sometimes the shrapnel flies to you from half a kilo or 1 kilo. It's not in close. There's explosion and very far, but then the shrapnel, then it hits you when you walk. So I was walking 5 meters away from me. A gentleman was hit by a shrapnel and he died. Then I said, "Wow, the angel of death was beside me, because he took he took him." But then, by the time, and many times I was asking myself, Francesca, how can I make sure I'm alive, not dead? You don't have a clue. Because what if all the people around me are dead like me? And we are the community of dead people. You don't have a clue what... I know how I can have a clue, but usually you doubt everything. And many times you close your eyes like this, and you say, wow, what if this is a nightmare? And you want to wake up. You wish it's a nightmare, and you wake up. But this is a very long nightmare. It's now 16 months,
Vorrei portarti adesso all'analisi politica, aiutarci a capire cos'è Hamas da dentro Gaza, non da fuori. Quando è iniziata l'offensiva israeliana l'8 ottobre, Netanyahu ha ripetuto numerosissime volte, continua a ripetere oggi, che l'obiettivo di questa guerra è distruggere Hamas una volta per tutte, e l'ha fatto anche a scapito, più volte a scapito, non ultimo, quest'ultima fallimento del cessate il fuoco, che il ritorno degli ostaggi non fosse una priorità quanto lo è sradicare Hamas definitivamente dalla striscia di Gaza. Questo nonostante i servizi di sicurezza interni, il capo dello Shin Bet, Ronen Bar, che lui appunto oggi vuole far fuori, licenziare, ripetessero che l'idea che sia possibile distruggere Hamas, farla sparire, è proprio gettare sabbia negli occhi del pubblico. Queste sono parole testuali di uno dei portavoce delle forze armate israeliane. E allora, visto che una delle notizie degli ultimi giorni riguarda anche alcune manifestazioni di dissenso che ci sono all'interno della striscia di Gaza, naturalmente contro le forze armate israeliane, ma anche contro Hamas, io vorrei chiederti di aiutarci a capire che cos'è Hamas per i palestinesi della striscia di Gaza, cosa non abbiamo capito, ma soprattutto se per te è plausibile che l'obiettivo di questa offensiva militare sia sradicare Hamas dalla striscia di Gaza.
Yeah, it's a very complicated question, but I mean, yeah, but no, but first, Hamas is part of the Palestinian people, and they have their own supporters, and they have their own opposition. I was in Hamas jail many times, myself. But this doesn't mean that Hamas doesn't exist, or it's not they have, in the election, they took 40% of the parliament. And if there is election now, they might take less or more, no less. But I mean, but they will take. So you can, and for Netanyahu, of course. But Hamas was a friend for a certain time. You reporter from Palestine know this. So it's not about, this war is not about eliminating Hamas. It's about evacuating Gaza, and it's not a Trump. Remember, the first one who talked about evacuating Gaza was the head of the Israeli army on October 7 itself. And look to the main statements made by the Israeli generals at the beginning of the war. It was about eliminating Gaza. But then they use Hamas as a pretext, because, like Hamas is portrayed as, a terrorist group in European law and American law. So it's very easy to use this to say, guys, we Italians and Israeli, we fight the same enemy. We fight terrorism. This is what they say to the world, no? So it's like, let's join us in this war to kill the devil. But it's not true. What they're doing, I don't know if my father is Hamas. He never voted for Hamas. He died in this war. My cousins, my niece, my nephews, and I don't know if my niece, the 6 years old, she's the daughter of my sister. I don't know. Of course, she's not Hamas. So it's not about. So again, the Palestinian people never given the choice to live in peace. Do you know the story of the Middle East peace? Arafat and Rabin, they signed the peace deal. Remember? Which year? 93. Okay. Rabin went to Tel Aviv. What happened to Rabin after that? They killed him. Arafat didn't kill him, the Palestinian. Even Hamas didn't kill him. Oh, most of the Palestinians at that time, they thought it's unfair to have a peace deal where we have 20% of our homeland. Including myself, I thought, and I think it's not fair even. Because it's not fair, Either we share it or not, or we live together, I mean. But Arafat went back to Gaza. Everybody welcomed him in Gaza, though most of the people in Gaza, they believe this is not fair at that time. But they said, okay, let's try, because we want to live in peace. But what happened to Rabin? They shot him in the middle of Tel Aviv. We didn't shoot Arafat. So what I'm saying, the people of Gaza, including Hamas, they were not given the chance to live in peace. We never had this feeling of having our own state. In contemporary history, we had it before, and 1,000 years ago. But I mean now. But then when you come to Hamas, if you want to talk about Hamas, I'm a political scientist, so I know how to deal with this. Hamas is a main component of the Palestinian people. In every state, you have the nationalist and the religious. Even in Europe, you have the Christian democracy, Christian, I don't know, different names, you know, in Germany, in France, and Italy. And we have Hamas, so what? But then we had election 2006, remember? When Hamas won. And even your government, no, we cannot deal with it. You want democracy, it's democracy. We're told this is democracy biennale, you know? You want democracy, it's democracy. Everybody has the right, you know, if you want to rule. Then everybody in the world boycotted the Palestinian government. Then we got in the tunnel. The division, the national division, and Hamas takeover of Gaza, and the besiege of Gaza, etc. So what I'm saying, and now even look to the day after. They say, oh, Hamas should not be part of any future Palestinian arrangements in Gaza. And you have to make election. But Francesca should not be in the election, and Atef should not. They're very bad guys. So you know what we suggest? We asked Trump to bring us members of the parliament, you know. This is, you know, again, either you want democracy or you don't want democracy. And if you want democracy, you should give the people the right to choose. And you have to respect their choice, and you have to empower this choice. Then, if they made the wrong choice, next time they will change it. But if you tell them, people forgot like 20% of the members of the Israeli parliament, they're more dangerous than all terrorist groups in the world. You know what they call us? Crocodiles, animals. In their speech in the parliament, those members of the parliament, when they refer to the Palestinians, they don't refer to us as human. And then, after he finishes his speech, he comes to the Italian parliament.
They don't refer to you as Palestinians. They never, non dicono mai palestinesi, dicono genericamente arabi. Cioè non vi chiamano neanche palestinesi, perché, come dire, chiamarvi palestinesi implicherebbe la necessità di riconoscere un'entità territoriale che rappresenta uno Stato palestinese, e quindi di solito si riferiscono a voi come genericamente arabi.
No, I'm not saying this, no. No, I'm saying the fundamentalist member of the of the parliament, the Knesset, those far right parties.
Ben-Gvir, Smotrich.
No, worse even. Many members of just look at the Israeli parliament, the component. They're people dangerous. They say that the crocodile Arabs, you know, the animal Arabs, you know. This is how they refer to us. But then. This is what I'm saying. Nobody said to Israel, oh, come on, you have fundamentalists in your parliament. Instead, they go to Strasbourg, to the European Parliament, and they welcome them. But then they tell us, don't choose this person to the parliament. If you choose him, we don't accept it.
C'è una cosa, anzi due, però andiamo con ordine. Tu hai giustamente sottolineato quanto l'obiettivo, uno degli obiettivi di questa offensiva militare è sicuramente, diciamo, la risposta al 7 ottobre, sicuramente il mandato di sradicare Hamas da Gaza, e certamente svuotare la striscia di Gaza, che è un obiettivo che la parte estremista di questa ultradestra religiosa, che si sposta in realtà sempre più al centro, per cui la differenza tra l'ultradestra religiosa e la destra meno estrema nel governo israeliano ormai quasi non si vede più. E poi arriveremo anche alla Cisgiordania, perché questa operazione di svuotamento e di sfollamento forzato è esattamente quello che sta accadendo ormai negli ultimi mesi con l'operazione Muro di Ferro in Cisgiordania, perché assistiamo abbastanza in silenzio al più grande sfollamento forzato nei territori palestinesi occupati sicuramente dalla seconda intifada, ma probabilmente dal 1967. Negli ultimi 2 mesi 40.000 persone sono state sfollate forzatamente dai campi profughi di Jenin, di Tulkarem, di Nur Sham, da Tubas. Quindi diciamo questo accade mentre la nostra attenzione è spostata verso altro. Ora, la portata di questo sfollamento è accompagnata da una narrazione, da un discorso che vede sempre più normalizzata l'idea che i palestinesi in questa terra non ci possano più stare. Cioè ci sono 2 cose che secondo me si sono gravemente e disperatamente normalizzate in questo anno e mezzo, cioè accettare che sia pronunciabile e udibile una frase come "a Gaza non esistono innocenti" e che sia tutto sommato sostenibile l'ipotesi che 1.800.000 persone da Gaza si debbano spostare altrove. Com'è successo?
I don't know, but I can't think of the Israelis, but I mean, and if Israel thinks by killing the Palestinians, destroying their homes, and making Gaza into none, they will deter the Palestinian mind, and they will prevent the Palestinian young generation of thinking again. They're wrong. I think for Israel, or for the right Israel, and I think the central in Israel is not different. Unfortunately, look to the Israeli election since the foundation of Israel until now. Every election they're getting more right. Every election. Hey, come on, now in Israel, Netanyahu is believed to be center. Because now we have Smotrich, Ben Gvir, and others, and even those they will be like in the center. Because they're getting more fundamentalist. And unfortunately, it's because everybody in the world laughs, applaud them. Because nobody can. We're not lucky to have Israel as our enemy. Some people are lucky with their enemies. We're not lucky because nobody can say no to Israel. Israel is the only state in the world which was made by a resolution of the United Nations, right? It's the only country. Italy was made by the Roman, Egyptian, but even contemporary states like Slovakia, they were not made by decisions. Israel was made by a United Nations decision. And Israel is the only country in the world that doesn't respect any United Nations resolution. Any single one. Give me one single resolution. They only respect the first one, 1947, which made Israel. And even this, they don't apply it. Because this resolution, the certificate of the birth of Israel, says the establishment of 2 states. One for the Jewish and one for the Arabs. But even this, they don't accept it. Just they accept one phrase of it. The establishment of a Jewish state for the Jewish and Palestine. Anyway, so what I'm saying, unfortunately, this is the situation. But I think Israel is making use of the international atmosphere at the beginning of October 7 and of a Trump, crazy ideas, to finish what it didn't finish in the Nakba. Nakba 1948. To evacuate Gaza. And now they have a very crazy American president who's, he thinks it's a company, Gaza. He wants to buy it, or a property. A nice, So again, they will not do it. And people, they will die there. Many, of course. Many people, they might get, people are not all heroes, because some people, they want to get rest, We're human at the end, we're not stones. We suffer and we pain, but at the end, the people will not do it. And Israel, believe me, you cannot live in peace if your neighbor is in danger. And if your neighbor is hungry, you cannot sleep in peace. And if your neighbor feels cold, you cannot stay in your house and feel warm. So now they're trying. For this, I think Netanyahu doesn't want the second phase of. Netanyahu. I imagine. I'm not sure. If Hamas gives Netanyahu all the hostages, he wouldn't accept it because he doesn't want to stop the war. And I'm not saying this. In the Israeli press, they say this, by the way. They say just, if they give him all the I would say prisoners, they're not hostages. It's a war, anyway. So, if they give him all the prisoners, he wouldn't accept. Netanyahu is afraid to talk about this stopping the war. Because for him, this war should not stop. This war should continue. And if we could send the Palestinian, I think Netanyahu every night, he sits in his bed like this, and he closes his eyes saying, oh, what if they disappear? Imagining us disappearing. We're not going to disappear. We were meant in the Nakba to disappear. The first thing my grandmother Aisha did after the Nakba? She left her house in Jaffa and she got pregnant with my dad. The first 5 months. So she believed that life should continue. And we're not going to disappear. This is either you live with us or you leave us. Either we live together. Either you live with us or leave us. This is very simple, And Israel doesn't want any formula where the Palestinians can live in their own state. They don't like the two-state solution, West Bank and Gaza. You go to negotiate them and come to me. I accept. Give us any choice. Any one of you is ready to go to negotiate. Go on to Tel Aviv and negotiate them. And any deal you bring, we accept it as Palestinian, given that they're in the occupation. Given that we live in peace, either with them or without them, together or separate state, any formula. But apparently the only formula that Israel sees is the disappearance of the Palestinian. They should disappear from the scene. And now you talked about West Bank. What happened in West Bank? Now they're starting with the refugee camps in North West Bank, which you mentioned, Nur Shams, and Tol Karim, Nur Shams, which is in Tol Karim, and Jenin camp. Now Jenin camp is made into zero. And so they're starting to destroy the refugee camps because Israel understands very well. The main question, the main reason of this conflict is not the Palestinian state in 1967. It's the Nakba. They know that very well. For this, they want to eliminate the camps. And Gaza, 70% of Gaza are camps, refugees like us. So they want to finish this unfinished business because they know, again, every criminal knows what is the right thing. And as criminals, they know the right thing. Is to have peace with the Palestinian, but they don't want it. So what they do? They run in the front. Let's have more of it. Like, what Trump did. Okay, let's get rid of the Palestinian. Then everybody, including you kind people, forget about the war. Oh, please keep the Palestinians in Gaza. And nobody talks about the war. And Israel continued killing, This is what Israel is doing, Let's maximize, exaggerate, or, higher the level of demands so that the demands of the other become less. So again, they cannot eliminate Gaza. And we're going, as Palestinians, we're going nowhere.
Parlando di numeri, secondo i dati aggiornati alla fine del 24 delle Nazioni Unite, dal 7 ottobre al 31 dicembre del 24 sono stati registrati dall'OCHA, quindi dall'Ufficio delle Nazioni Unite per il coordinamento delle azioni umanitarie e da varie organizzazioni che si occupano dei diritti umani sia palestinesi che israeliani, circa 1900 episodi di violenza da parte dei coloni in Cisgiordania, quindi diciamo una media di 4 al giorno, l'ultimo che è ovviamente stato per giorni sulle pagine dei giornali, è quello che è accaduto a Hamdan Ballal, cioè uno dei 4 registi del documentario premio Oscar No Other Land, girato in una comunità che è Masafaryatta, nelle colline a sud di Hebron, che è storicamente conosciuto per essere un luogo in cui si vive, si abita, si opera una resistenza non violenta, per cui come dire, come resisto all'occupazione illegale della mia terra restandoci. Ora, una cosa che mi colpisce, che vorrei chiederti prima di lasciare lo spazio a voi per le domande, è da osservatore che ha viaggiato molto anche in questi mesi per raccontare quello che hai visto e quello che hai vissuto a Gaza, ma anche da palestinese che lì vive e che quindi si informa su i giornali israeliani anche. Ti stupisce, perché a me stupisce moltissimo, per esempio, che noi in Europa non abbiamo dato importanza ad alcune cose significative che sono accadute in questo anno e mezzo, come lo citavo prima, il capo dello Shin Bet, quindi dei servizi segreti interni di israeliani, Ronen Bar, che ha scritto varie lettere aperte alla cittadinanza. In una di queste lettere scrive e descrive i movimenti dei coloni come la minaccia più importante e significativa per la sicurezza dello Stato di Israele e li descrive come gruppi terroristici. Ora, questo non lo fa, come dire, un giornalista occidentale, ideologico o un collega palestinese, lo fa il capo dei servizi di sicurezza interna, lo Shin Bet, dello Stato di Israele, che è uno dei motivi per cui Netanyahu naturalmente vuole licenziarlo. Allora, ci sono stati degli editoriali, penso naturalmente al quotidiano progressista Haaretz, ma non solo, anche il Times of Israel, che hanno criticato durissimamente l'operato del governo di Netanyahu. Perché questa medesima severità è molto più difficile?
This man is not an angel.
No, I know.
He's the one who killed the 50,000.
I know.
So please don't make it as if
No.
wow, no. They compete who's killing more of us, So Netanyahu is angry because he wanted more to kill. So don't, put him as if,
No, sto dicendo che
And I don't aspetta. I don't want his testimony that what happens in West Bank is terrorism. It is terrorism because it's defined by international law. So I don't want because he said so, because this is Israel-centric, and I hate it. I don't like it. To tell me because Israel said it, then it's nice. No, it is. Because
no, sto dicendo che non diamo abbastanza spazio alle crisi interne allo Stato di Israele, al governo israeliano. Non sto santificando Ronen Bar, sto dicendo che non diamo nemmeno, come dire, cronaca e menzione di quelle che sono i cortocircuiti interni ai sistemi di sicurezza israeliani o ai rapporti tra il governo e i sistemi di sicurezza, cioè al fatto che Netanyahu di fatto nell'ultimo anno e mezzo sta costantemente accentrando il potere su se stesso.
One of the main assumptions, wrong assumptions in Europe, is that Israel is democratic. No, so Israel is not democratic state. Because this is what, as European citizen, can you believe it? The Prime Minister is going to kick out the head of, because you think they're democratic. They're not democratic countries. You as European, Italian, you assume they're democratic. Aspetta. Tranquilla. No, but and this is, I don't like it. because Israel press said so, oh wow, you see? Because Netanyahu is going to kick him because he's very nice, or Israel democratic country, so Netanyahu doesn't have the right to, come on, for God's sake, Israel is not democratic country. And
Lo so, stavo dicendo un'altra cosa.
I don't want to be Palestine to be democratic like Israel, by the way, if this is democracy. It's not democracy. Because I have cousins living in Tel Aviv and Jaffa until now. We are the largest, my family is the largest Arab family in Tel Aviv and Jaffa. We still have orchard, by the way, and anyway. And I know how they live in Tel Aviv and Jaffa. So it's not democratic. And, so it's very important, this internal, we Palestinians, we're the best in the world to understand the Israelis, by the way, because they're our neighbors. And they affect all our life. We're not neighbors, actually. I don't like the word neighbors. Because neighbors, when somebody lives as your neighbor, he's your neighbor. This is a good word. But this is our enemy, our occupier. So our relation is not a neighbor and a neighbor relation. It's an occupied people and the people who occupies him or them. So it's in our blood, in our skin. So what I'm saying, this internal discussion you're referring to is, it's part of the Israeli competition. Did you think if Gantz became prime minister, he would be better than Netanyahu? He forgot. Gantz is the one who launched the war 2014 on Gaza. It's again, you don't need to think outside the box. You have to think from inside the box, but differently. So I think this issue, again, has one way. Israel was made by international resolution. Israel has to be forced to make peace with the Palestinian. And it is only the United Nations and the international community who can force Israel. If you leave it to the Israeli, if you want to win the election in Israel, you have to show how much you're fundamentalist, how much you hate the Palestinians. The more you hate them, the more you get votes. And this is, unfortunately, this is true. I would love this to be a nightmare again, and that we expect to live in a peace tomorrow, but without the international commitment, again, it's not up to Israel. And I'm very much convinced of this. It's not up to Israel. Hey, come on, you're a novelist. Read the Israeli Hebrew novels, how they describe the Palestinians. For God's sake, or the children literature, or the school curriculum. Oh, come on, the Arabs, they stole the moon. Can you believe it? This is the most famous children literature story. We, the Arabs, we stole the moon from them. It's just or the curriculum, But then in our school, Europe says, don't teach your children in the school that the Palestinians lived in Jaffa. What we do? Where we lived before? Before 1948, we were living there. We were not in the moon. We were not in vacuum. So what I'm saying is, again, without international intervention, to enforce Israel to make peace will not be achieved. If we were going to wait in the station for Israel to come with like driving l'autobus of peace, they will not do it.
Sono assolutamente d'accordo. Nel momento in cui parliamo, ora sono quasi 4 settimane che a Gaza non entrano aiuti umanitari. Questo solo come dato di cronaca. Abbiamo un quarto d'ora ancora, io vorrei lasciare la parola a voi, se avete delle domande da fare ad Atef, Abu Saif. Ci aiuta, grazie.
I try to ask in English, is Gaza a democracy? You say that Israel is not a democratic state. Gaza, I don't think is a democratic state.
It's not a state, bravo, it's not a state.
It's not
So how you want
state,
us?
but it has been administrated by Hamas, which
Yeah, but it's not a state, you know. And we don't want to have democracy and election in Gaza alone without West Bank and without Jerusalem. So it's again, you know, it's like, you know, you want to tell me, you know, you make democracy, then we give you a state. But democracy is about arrangements of control. How people agree together to control it, to live. So, but if we don't know what kind of institutions we have, I'm not defending anyone, by the way. We had election 2006, then nobody recognized it. And we had election 1996 as well, remember, when Arafat was there. But I'm not saying the way the Palestinian life is administered is perfect, either in Gaza or West Bank. It's not perfect, of course. And of course, but we don't claim. We want to be a state to have election, but then we don't have a state. Then you ask me, oh, make election. Then Israel says, no election without Jerusalem. And you want me to accept? No, I don't want to. I myself take it. I will not vote in any election if Jerusalem is not included. Because the moment I accept it without Jerusalem, I will accept next time without Area C. Then next time without Area B. Then next time they will bring us members of the parliament from America. I don't want it. Again, it's for a people under occupation. The main question is not the quality of life or the quality of institutions. It's about getting rid of the occupation. So instead of thinking of all these, you know, I don't like it when you say, oh, you say Israel is not democratic. Is Palestine? No, we're not democratic as well. But we don't pretend to be democratic. We don't say we are the most democratic country in the Middle East. We don't say this. We're very simple. We say we are, you know, my grandmother Aisha, actually I became a novelist because I wanted to write her life, which I didn't do actually after 10 novels. Yeah, anyway. You know, she was a very old lady. She lost her oldest son before my dad in the Nakba. And she was crying until she got blind. You know, because, you know, anyway. She was saying, Atef, when I was a kid, I know the son, you know, that the world is not just. And we don't want justice. We want less injustice. Believe we want less, we don't want justice. We know justice is not going to happen. Not because we have Mr. Trump or Ms. Meloni or Macron or whoever, you know. It's because the world is not just. But we want at least, we accept that we suffer, but not to this extent. Just give us a break, you know. So again, the main question in Palestine is occupation. In the occupation, give us a state, not give us. Let us take our state, because nobody give us a state. It's our country. But unfortunately, we want to practice, you know, can you believe it? In Gaza, there was a seaport which connected South Italy and Greece and Cyprus with the Levant 5,000 years ago. So the Palestinians who lived in Gaza 5,000 years ago used to come to Napoli and the other cities by ship. No single Gaza. We don't have ships in Gaza now. Then you tell me, why you're not democratic? This is not the right question. It's very important to have special arrangements. But the main thing is that, you know, why don't ask Israel to end the occupation and we have our state? Then you decide if you want to have a relation with non-democratic Palestinian state or not, if we're not democratic. But again, look to the Middle East. In Palestine, and I don't like to, but as a political scientist said, we were the first Arab country where the ruling party loses and power is delivered to the opposition. This happened in 2006, right? When Fatah, which I belong to, we lost the election, and nobody expected actually that Hamas is going to win. Because, you know, usually the people change the results of the election. We didn't. We accepted it. But who didn't accept the election? You tell me who didn't accept the election.
No, ma
You tell them who didn't.
il nostro rapporto con le elezioni democratiche degli altri paesi è un po' curioso, perché c'è un ricordo che non sblocchiamo quasi mai e che però ci porta al Cairo di quando le elezioni democratiche controllate da osservatori internazionali portarono al governo Mohammed Morsi dopo la fine del regime di Mubarak. Quelle furono le elezioni democraticamente elette dalla fratellanza che insomma elessero la fratellanza musulmana. Mohammed Morsi morto in prigione dopo il colpo di stato di al-Sisi, qualcuno se lo ricorda? No, perché la democrazia ci piace soltanto quando corrisponde ai nostri criteri, ai nostri canoni. Mentre parliamo, Erdogan sta arrestando giornalisti, fotografi e oppositori politici, eppure gli diamo 3 miliardi di euro ogni 2 anni per tenersi le persone migranti. Quindi non lo so, forse scomodare la democrazia la parola democrazia in un paese che negli ultimi 16 mesi ha annesso, meglio, rubato, cioè non so come dire, annettere illegalmente significa rubare la terra che non è la tua, e ha annesso più territori palestinesi negli ultimi 16 mesi di quanto non abbia fatto negli ultimi 20 anni. Ma di che cosa stiamo parlando? Di democrazia?
But still, we need democracy always. We always need democracy. And this is...
Basta. Sì.
Was it?
Sì, traduco io per Atef. Era troppo costosa. Gush Katif. Did you have the translation? No. She was asking about difference on the settlers in Gaza and in West Bank related to the 2005 disengagement of Gush Katif. Why there is so much difference of the policies of settlers that was in Gaza before 2005 and now in West Bank, if there is any difference.
I don't know. Yeah, this has to more with the, there is nothing called, I think it's all, Israel is a military state. The state decided that we have to evacuate from Gaza. You know what happened? Evacuation from Gaza. Again, remember the word in Hebrew was not disengagement. Because in Europe you like to make Israel beautiful. So you use beautiful words.
I use it.
No, in Europe, disengage as if no, it's not. It's a military word, disengagement first, disengagement. But I think in Hebrew the word means when you take one part of the body. Like you manipulation, like the part of amputation, sorry. So first it's Israel who decides. And remember, they did it in Jenin one time. They evacuated some settlements in Jenin. So Israel is a general state. They decide, then of course, in this military state, you need some settlers to speak and to act and to do the work. But it's the army who decides for everyone. And so it's not. Then you ask yourself, why in 1956 Israel occupied Gaza and they withdrew after 6 months? Record, 1967, 56. And when they occupied Gaza, Sinai, when Nasser, but they withdrew after 6 months. Why? Hey, you want another funny story? You know Samson the Great? Samson the Great, the biblical character. You know the Samson, okay, you know him. He's very holy in the Jewish theology, no? He's a hero. You know his grave is in Gaza, and they never wanted it. But in Nablus, you know Nablus, in the West Bank, there is a grave of a Muslim sheikh called Joseph. Of course, you know the Muslims, we like to call everybody prophet, you know, like in Italy, Santo, so everybody's Santo, you know. So they said, oh, this is Prophet Joseph tomb. In the Israeli history, Joseph never been to Palestine. He died in Egypt. And his tomb is lost. And even but in Gaza, when they conquered Gaza in 1967, there is a place in Gaza called Samson grave, where Muslim, Christian, women and men, they go there. Women and men, Christian and Muslims in Gaza, they go to the grave because he's believed to be a prophet as well, Samson. And he's a Jewish figure. He's one of he's the most famous character in the Bible. Where he destroyed remember, he was arrested by the Palestinians in Gaza. Then Dallila, the Palestinian girl, she cut his hair. But because at that time, they didn't want Gaza. So they didn't even come to his grave. And it was very dirty. And for us, we don't mind. We don't want them to come to this grave anyway. And it's a proof that Samson died in Gaza. This is the Torah says so. But they don't want Gaza at that time. So they never touched his grave. They never made it holy. Dayan, you know Moshe Dayan, the Israeli ex-minister, he's the main thief of Palestinian archaeology. No, it's true. He's the main thief. He used to come to Gaza to steal the Palestinian, the remains and the archaeological sites. But he never came there. Because at that time, again, the Spartan Israeli society, they didn't want to settle in Gaza. They decided that we don't need it at that time. The same thing in 2005. For them at that time, look where Israel made its settlement in Gaza. Where? Why Gush Katif? It's the most fertile zone. Where they have melanzane, tomato, and it's like a basket for them. So it's economic. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with anything else. Israel, believe me, Allah, Allah, Dio, or Elohim in Hebrew, has nothing to do with this. He's innocent. It's a colonial project. They're occupying this country, and just they develop ideas how to continue. It's like South Africa. It's the same project, For this, that good thing, and so it has nothing to do with anything else. So if tomorrow the militant in the Israeli state decided that West Bank is not holy, it becomes not holy. It's just easy, Just
nel 2005, quando è stata chiesta l'evacuazione dei coloni da Gush Katif, era anche una questione economica. La sicurezza di poche centinaia di coloni era troppo costosa sul bilancio israeliano rispetto alla possibilità, appunto una questione economica che è più o meno traslata la stessa ragione per cui a un certo punto nei mesi precedenti, dal 2021 un po', da quando hanno ricominciato a riarmarsi l'ombrello di brigate armate in West Bank, che parte delle unità e delle brigate israeliane che erano di stanza nella striscia di Gaza sono state spostate in Cisgiordania, ed è uno dei motivi per cui il 7 ottobre la sicurezza evidentemente soltanto digitale, di controllo di telecamere e reti metalliche non ha funzionato, perché la stragrande maggioranza delle brigate militari, della fanteria sostanzialmente, era stata spostata in West Bank, che era ed è parte del progetto coloniale di annessione, parte.
No, I'm not sure of this explanation that they moved the a part of the brigade, so we're spanked, but I'm not sure of this because this is like kind of explanation. But what I'm saying, it's again, it's one mind decides for everyone, and now they were not to, but they want to evacuate Gaza and to bring settlers, like to make Jabalia like a golf or a picnic place, for them to have barbecue there, and etc. But this is, it's very much, I would say Israel is bringing us to the main question. It's an Nakba question. So the conflict is not a conflict between two persons, two neighbors. It's someone who wants to eliminate someone else. But unfortunately, the world is blind. They don't see. And deaf, they don't hear. Israel is saying it loudly. Guys, our aim is to kill all the Palestinians. Then somebody, is this genocide? Hey, no, it's a wedding party. How about this? In this wedding party, 50,000 were killed and 120,000 were injured. And 500,000 buildings were destroyed. It's a very nice wedding party. We don't call genocide because, and in Europe, we're very sensitive to the word genocide. It touches it's genocide. So what do you want to call it? So again, it's not about finding a justification to what happens. It's about explaining it according to the rules and norms we know. Why do we make definitions? Because we want, as human beings, to agree that this expression means this. So it's not about you and me to decide if this is true or not. It's about what happens actually. And I think, again, Israel is a colonial project. It's the moment the international community decides to limit the expansionist Israel, they will do so. Give me one single Italian university which doesn't have cooperation with Israeli universities. Give me one. Even in Italy. Every single university has connection with Israeli universities. Every single Israeli university benefits from the European Union Research Fund. And then at the end they develop weapons. Remote, drones. Then the European Union says, no, we don't say. No, you give them. They say, yeah, but we give them to develop researches. But they use these researches to kill us. The moment the international community decides, the moment the international community decides to limit, and I think we should save humanity from Israel. Because Israel is putting all the international community in danger. This little war, Gaza is very little. But for a minute, we could have a global war. For a minute. Remember when Iran was engaged and Hezbollah and Yemen, and just imagine if everything explodes. You think Europe will be safe? No place will be safe. Because the moment there is a fire, it burns everyone. So I think the only way, again, to conclude, Magari, I wish, but you have to. Europe, the international community, has to force Israel. But how we can force someone to do something? We have to punish him if he doesn't accept. We have to punish them. Embargo, sanctions. Even, I told you, Israel is an illegal member of the United Nations. And I bet for this. Oh, wow. Just imagine if you go to the court in Rome. You're anti-Semitic. If you say so. I'm saying legally. Israel was given membership. I'm not saying this. This is what the documents say. This was in 1949. And that was at that time the minister of Foreign Affairs of Israel was David Ashkol. He was the minister of Foreign Affairs, and he signed this document. It says that Israel is given membership of the United Nations under two conditions: to accept the partition resolution, 181 we call it, and the 194 resolution. Anybody knows the resolution, this resolution? This was after the Nakba. which says the Palestinians have the right to return to their villages and towns from where they were kicked during the war. Israel approved this, and they said, we accept to implement these two, and they didn't. So Israel is a legal member, because, you know, I tell you, you become member of this club if you do this and that. And you say, I want to do them, then you accept, I give you membership, then you don't do them. What is the next step? Yeah, I have to take back your membership. And I think there are many things to be done. But unfortunately, the international community likes to be blind and deaf. Then they ask you, why the Palestinians are not democratic? Hey, why the Palestinians are fighting with the Israeli? It's not the right question.
Potremmo andare avanti molto, ma purtroppo il nostro tempo è finito. Io vi consiglio fortissimamente di leggere questa cronaca di 80 giorni, 85 giorni di guerra, perché è una cronaca umana, politica, e perché, lo dicevo all'inizio e lo ripeto ora, non potremo dire che non sapevamo. Grazie. Atef, Saif.